Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Freeman Files on the J-Free 906 podcast. Tom and Jeff. Tom made it after all. And
Yes, that was what Mark Twain said. The rumors of my demise have been greatly exaggerated.
Yes, I have. Well,
It's been a wild 24 hours. Didn't think I was going to make it. And I may still not make it, but I'm here for now.
Well, I'm certainly glad. I mean, you know me, I can talk well enough on my own, but I am glad you're here because you always add wonderful content. This is, the Curse of Oak Island stuff. This is the Tom and Jeff show. So that's what you get.
Mutt and Jeff.
Anyway, we thank you folks for being here with us tonight. We appreciate it very much. We are going to be talking about the Curse of Oak Island season 12, episode number 10, and that is Grave's Concern. So we're going to dig into that tonight a little bit as we go forward here. We do have another giveaway again tonight, and I will show a quick picture of this if I can work this out. What has happened here? Okay, let's do
so that's why I'm here, so I can talk while you're playing with the buttons and
had to stay. There it is. All right, so we got a t-shirt that was from the Oak Island Treasure Shop that Christina and I got for the giveaways, and then a coaster from Michelle Tomeyer, and that has a picture. I think that's a picture she took and added to coasters, so that's kind of cool. So that's our giveaway for tonight. We'll be talking about that some more as we get closer to the time for that later on in the show. And let's see. Also, like I always say, folks, thank you so much for being here. And if you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up if you like the content that we give you here tonight. Wanted to also mention that we are going to postpone the show we had kind of planned for tomorrow night, which was talking about the Tales of Oak Island episode that was heading. I forgot what was the name. I don't remember the name of that episode.
I'm at a total loss right now.
I'm sorry. I kind of threw that one on you, but yeah, it was about Gilbert Head and everything that they had done or he had done. So we will cover that as soon as we can. Well, we were going to do it tomorrow, but we're going to postpone it just a little bit before we get into
some crazy stuff happening here too. So.
Yep. I understand. So, but anyway, glad to have you all here tonight. And we have somebody just popped in and to a little special. I say a little, not a little, a big special guest.
A lot, no pun intended.
Has popped in, and so let's bring him on with us right now. Corjan Mole, how are you, sir?
Hey guys.
Hey Corjan.
Glad to see you. So, what in the world? I know it's really late for you out there where you are. What's going on in your world these days?
Well, loads of stuff. Oak Island research never sleeps.
That is true. And I know that's one of the things that I know that you and Christopher Morford and folks doing all the research that you do, it never will it? Until you have every answer. And I don't know, do we ever get every answer? No.
You want me to answer that?
No, you don't have to. So I know. So what's happening?
Loads of stuff. I mean, we're researching year round, independently from the show, and some exciting stuff has come up. And I wanted to share with you that I'm going to publish some stuff tomorrow that I think is really exciting.
Awesome,
and has everything to do with our favorite cross on the island, Nolan's Cross.
Wow, gosh. Awesome! That's great news. And this is coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, this is coming out tomorrow.
Oh,
yeah, and this is the story about Nolan's Cross is. Literally, stands at the heart of the mystery of Oak Island.
I think so.
Lots of debate about it. Was this, intentionally conferred as a cross? These 5 huge boulders discovered by Fred Nolan in the 1980s. Fred was a professional surveyor.
Yep.
With a keen eye for patterns, I guess. And then, over the last 10 years, so much has been said about it. So many people have looked at it, and then Professor Gaspani came in, analyzing the data and concluding that it pointed to specific star clusters, and then made this jaw-dropping statement that it can only have been put there in 1200 AD, and I
That
so
blew my
remember,
mind.
yeah, me too. I mean, I can so remember sitting there in Rome, discussing with him, and I asked him, what is the chance that this is coincidence?
Mhm.
And he said 1 in 35 million,
Wow.
which was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And
That is.
we've often had the discussion after that. If we accept archaeoastronomy as a science, which is I guess a young science. This man is one of the heroes of that science,
Mhm.
and he made that statement.
Mhm.
Now, even before that, I've always been, I guess you can call me a believer in Nolan's Cross, and that has to do with with how precise it is. So talking to Steve Guptill and looking at the modeling that he's done, and to see how precise the placement is. And yes, I know the stories about boulders having been moved or something like that. I always thought if people did this even in the Middle Ages, then perhaps there's been a precedent. Maybe someone did this before, and they just repeated the pattern. I
Mhm.
mean, they wouldn't just. I always try to make it tangible. So imagine you arrive on an island, on the other side of the North Atlantic. You've been in a boat for a long time. You step on shore, and then what do you do? And is that then something you make up on the spot, or is it something that you know from back home, something that you've used before to mark your territory or something like that? So my hope was well, my dad says hope is postponed disappointment. But my hope was always that I would find a template for Nolan's Cross. So I've been scouring Europe for examples for a very, 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 very long time, and I think a lot of people with me. And then I guess to my own surprise, I think I found it
Oh my
last
God.
year.
Whoa.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
so there is a place in England where there's a you can call it similar, you can call it the same configuration of great standing stones that form a cross pattern exactly like Nolan's Cross that shares many of the features of Nolan's Cross.
Wow.
And that's something I wanted to share. So I've been working on a video about that. So I've been there last year in the summer to film there.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
so just to go out on a limb, Corjan, can you share with us if there's an approximate date to the new similar structure?
I mean, this is impossible to date. But there's been, I mean, this site is, to my knowledge, is completely unknown
Oh, wow. Okay.
to anyone, even to people who live, a few hundred meters away from it. I can tell you where it is. It's in Yorkshire, in England, and I can share a picture, right?
Okay. Yeah, please.
Am I boring you guys yet?
No, man, I'm intrigued.
You've got my undivided attention, because I've always said, you can put something in plain sight and no one will ever know what it is unless they know what they're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
as soon as you know what you're looking for, well, it's not hidden anymore.
Right.
True.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
so
Let's bring this.
okay, so I'm sharing this picture. Can you bring that up, Jeff? Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
So this is a screenshot from the video that I'll publish tomorrow night. So I'll do this around 8 p.m. EST.
Okay.
This is Yorkshire in England, and Yorkshire was a heartland for the Knights Templar. In the 1130s, 1150s, no less than 8 Cistercian abbeys were founded there, and 13 Templar commanderies. And near one of those, on the lands of one of those, we'll find this cross.
Wow.
And it's amazing. So I went there last year to film, on on my own, not knowing exactly what to expect. I'd seen some. I mean, there's some pictures online, but you really have to look hard for them, and there's not many. So you always need to see these things for yourself to be able to assess it.
Yep.
So I went there, I took my GPS device, to make sure I, had a good position on the stones. Did my research, and it completely blew me away. And I'm fortunately, Prometheus and the History Channel allowed me to share this.
Yep.
Which is even more exciting. So I made this 10-minute mini documentary that I've called Secrets of the Yorkshire Cross.
Wow.
And I can't wait to share it with you.
I can't either. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. And that's something, just to interject real quick. And that's something that I said, many times on the show, and Tom probably at nauseum with folks. I'm sorry, I know, but that no one's going to go through the effort to create something like Nolan's Cross just for the fun of it, just to say, oh, okay, we dragged all these big boulders around with oxen or whatever, got them into place for the fun of it. Okay, now what are we going to do? No, it has to mean something. It had to be put there for a purpose. And this just intrigues me to no end, Corey. And serious, wow, I can't wait.
Yeah, and then maybe to answer your question a little bit better, Tom. Again, it's impossible to date. There's been archaeological research of this site, and in one or two footnotes in a book of a famous English professor.
Mm-hmm. That is too
cool. Who makes the comment that these stones aren't in their original place, and that they've been placed a long time ago. Mm-hmm. He acknowledges in his work that they form a cross pattern. And I know after a lot of research and digging, I know that these lands, were used by the Knights Templar to graze their sheep. Mm-hmm. And then the jury is out, I guess. But I think if you've seen what I've had to present, what I'm going to present, and what the parallels are with Nolan's Cross. And then, if you look what happened in that area in 1200 AD, which is the year that Adriano Gaspani puts on it, then I think it's quite a compelling case. Let me share one last picture with you of the.
I am intrigued. I'm looking at the chat. Everybody is like, "Oh my gosh, we can't wait to see this."
It completely blew my mind too. I can so imagine. Can't wait to share this either.
That is so cool. All right, you've got a new. Okay, here, let me bring that up here. Oh wow! So this must be that area that you're talking about.
Yeah, this is the Yorkshire Moors, the North York Moors, I think is the official name. And I think this is one of the most beautiful areas in England. which was economically very important in the Middle Ages because of the wool trade. So there were a lot of sheep here, and they produced a lot of wool, and that was traded all over Europe, all over the known world. Yeah, and this is where I found this feature.
Wow. Wow. Cool.
Incredible.
That is. And so, yeah, well, there's so many questions I want to ask, and I don't want to blow it. So we'll just wait until you have it come out. And I would hope that after this is released, that maybe we can have you come back and talk a little bit more about it. Is that?
Yeah, I would love to.
Okay.
I would love
Okay,
to.
perfect. Yeah, then I'll save up my questions for
Yeah,
that.
I've already started my list here. You see me looking
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Woof.
But
Yeah,
hopefully there'll be some of those.
I've been thinking about it. I mean, I don't want to be a tease and
Well, let's have fun.
tell people stuff they have to wait for. But I wanted to make sure that as many people as possible know that this is coming, so they have a chance to watch it. So I didn't want to be a bore there, or so that's why I'm releasing it tomorrow. Don't want to make this too long or difficult. And also I want to stress, this is not something I make money out of. It's not monetized. I do this because I love the history. Of course, I've shared with members of the team. They all know, they love it, and they I think they see the significance of this. And this goes to show that research goes on all the time, and that we do progress. The Oak Island story, even if nothing's on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
The history just continues to evolve, or the description rather.
Yeah.
I mean, what you had for breakfast is history now. I mean, history continues to evolve, right?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so where can we say where they can find it? You said your YouTube channel. Is that something we can show now or talk about now, where that is? Or is it?
Sure. Yeah. I will publish this on the YouTube channel that Chris and I have, the Jerusalem Files.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
It's the only channel I have for stuff like this. So, and I'll drop the link on my Facebook tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'm sure people will pick it up. And usually it only takes a few seconds for people to start sharing.
Yeah. And then as soon as it is, I'm sure Linda will get a hold of that, and she'll just put that all over the place too, so that we get that out to as many people, as possible right away. So awesome, man. That's cool. It's something that I know that, and you're going to have this one come out, and then there's probably going to be another one after that, shortly thereafter or whatever. But this is great because, again, how Professor Gaspani figures this out is beyond me. It truly is beyond me. I mean, to be able to take the stars and line them up to come up with a date as to when that would have been built it just goes right over my head. And, knowing that you and, so many others are there to listen to this and corroborate this with him, and finding out a little bit more about his background and his reputation that he has, just locks that in. And then you look at the age of 1200 AD is like, who could have any interest in something like that in 1200, right? So
as long as you can understand the logic behind it, you don't need all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, exactly.
True. And Professor Gaspani is aware of this. He's looked at it, and and that's mentioned in the video too. And that I think it's again, it's mind blowing. And does it prove that that Nolan's Cross is real? No, it doesn't. It doesn't even prove that the cross in Yorkshire is real. And at the same time, this is something. Well, like Nolan's Cross, everybody can go see for himself, and that's what I always like to do. Like we did in the Jerusalem Files. All the research is there. All the sources are there. Everybody can check every fact from every source.
Yep.
And the same with this. Nolan's Cross is an existing feature. These stones are there. The alignment is there.
Yep.
The stones in Yorkshire are there. You can see them. You can GPS them. You can calculate them. And it's fact. And it's amazing. And the story with 1200. These lands were granted to the Knights Templar by one of the, if not the most powerful patron in England at the time, who was a 9th generation Norman. He directly descended from the Normans that arrived in France in the 10th century, in the male bloodline. So for me, this ties a number of things together. I've always said, sometimes, they make the narrator say, Corjan Mol believes that the Vikings assisted the Knights Templar to transport a great treasure to Oak Island. Well, Corjan Mol doesn't believe that. He knows they didn't. But because they didn't have to, many of the early Templar families descended directly from the Normans. So they could have just asked, their parents or their grandparents, do you know if there's an unknown landmass to the west or somewhere? And they would have had this lore in the family or something like that.
Yep.
And that all these things, converge in Yorkshire, in the North York Moors, and it's breathtaking.
It's fascinating.
It is. I can't wait to check this out, man. Oh man, this is good stuff, Corjan. Really is. I'm telling you, that's learning heaps. I know a lot of people have said that we're learning so much just by being here. We had no idea, folks. Corjan reached out to me and said, "Hey, I got something I'd like to talk about. Can I come on?" I'm like, "Of course, yes, you can." It's like,
absolutely.
Thanks so much, man.
Oh, absolutely. It's an honor to have you come on and announce
Real
this
treat.
here. Yeah, absolutely. So, man, looking forward to this. I can't wait to watch it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I see Gretchen making a comment there. The last Viking raid was 1066, William the Conqueror taking the throne of England. That's the nail on the head.
Yep.
And the gentleman who gave these lands to the Templars, his ancestor came to France with Rollo. Rollo was a direct ancestor of William the Conqueror, and one of his lieutenants produced the offspring that would eventually produce the gentleman that gave the lands to the Templars in Yorkshire, on which we'll find a cross that is suspiciously like Nolan's Cross.
This is too good. And that's the thing, you find something like that here, and then you find out that it has the credibility that it does. I mean, like you said, can we prove that that all the things line up to where Nolan's Cross is, such a remarkable place? Can we do a lot of proof there? Hard to do. But then you continue that research, and now you find something that corroborates it over in the UK. I mean,
yeah,
it just adds up. I mean, you look at the facts and you're like, okay, I mean, come on. Wow, this is really truly interesting. I can't wait.
So let's wait with the judgment.
Eight tomorrow evening. Is it going to be 8 o'clock tomorrow evening that this will air, or 8 in the morning?
Yeah, that's 8 o'clock evening New York time.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get the word out
around this time tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll do it.
Perfect.
I'll make sure that happens automatically, and I'll be in my bed. I think it's
it's like
almost 2 a.m. here.
Oh gosh. All right. Wow. All right. Well, I tell you what, that's awesome, and we'll do our best to get it around to everybody so that everybody gets a chance to see this. And you get ready for some comments, because you're probably going to get a lot of them.
Well, I'm reading as we go. Renee's asking, are there carvings on a rock? Yes, there's carvings on one of them,
Oh,
and they add to the intrigue.
I can say, stop it. You're killing me here.
yeah, I know, right? And he doesn't.
Got him hooked. Might as well just reel him in.
Yeah.
No, again, I'm sorry. I don't want
No,
to
no, that's all. That's great. It's fair.
to tease and serve everybody a big nothing burger. Not looking for again for well, I guess I am looking for attention. I want to share this thing,
Well, you're
and,
about to get it.
Exactly.
because it puts I think a new light on Nolan's Cross, and with that on the mystery of Oak Island. And I think this does
Yeah.
progress
The one
the
thing
story quite a bit.
that we've seen over the years is that everybody's kind of gone from let's go down, let's dive, let's find a treasure to this whole history aspect of it now. The pendulum has kind of swung.
Yep.
Finding a treasure would be great. It would be fun. It would be exciting. But all of the history that we're seeing is just blows the mind.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
the thing is, if indeed, a boat full of people arrived and they positioned these stones in the Middle Ages on an island in the North Atlantic, then the next question again is the motive. Why on earth?
Right.
Why on earth did they go there? And why did they go through all the trouble? So yeah. And in that respect, season 12, which is now being aired, has been, let's say, remarkable in terms of research. But there too, I think we'll have to wait. They always leave the good stuff for the end of the season.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? That's gonna just kill me. But yeah,
That's killing me.
yeah, and Tom and I, we do our best to go through every single episode and break them down as much as we possibly can, like we are tonight. But yeah, we know full well that there's going to be some stuff coming out in the last 4 episodes that are going to blow our socks off. So yeah, and I got a good feeling about some of what it is, but that's as much as we can say there. But oh boy, get ready for the ride, folks, because it's going to be a lot of fun.
For sure. Okay.
All right.
So
Well,
that's what I wanted to share, and so I invite you to have a look tomorrow, and then I'm happy to discuss afterwards. When everybody's had a chance to look at it, and let's have some fun.
all right. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Corey. I appreciate that. Wow.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Real treat.
Yep.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to see you guys soon.
All right. Well, gonna have you on after this is all. Yeah, we'll give a little time in there, but we'll have you come on and then go through this a little deeper for everybody. But again, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Take care. Thanks. Good night, everyone. And see you soon.
All right. Thank you, Corey.
Cheers.
Wow. Is that how do we follow that up, Tom?
Start your clock.
Yeah, start your clock. Yeah, there it is right there. 24 hours from now, we're going. Oh my goodness. I don't know how to follow that up. Well, that's it for the show.
If we're smart, we just say goodnight.
Exactly. Wow. My goodness.
Tune in next time.
Yeah, tune in next time to the Curse of Oak Island, and Jeffrey and Tom, and oh my gosh. Wow. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do our best to get on with it. And we'll
how are we going to juice this up now?
I know, right? We're going to do our best to keep it informative. A good show going on here for the rest of the evening. But that is awesome. All right. So let's dig into it as we can here. Wow, that's a half an hour already. And thank you, Craig, very, very much. I appreciate it, sir. Love to have Craig and the guys show up in the Discord chat with us on Tuesday nights as we prepare for the show. We're watching the show and talking about everything, and Craig is always in there with a good contribution to everything. But thank you so very much. I appreciate it, sir. All right, so let's roll with it. Let's see. I got a Curse of Oak Island. All right, so season 12, episode number 10, Graves Concern. And as the show starts off, they're in the swamp, of course, still working up there in that north area of the swamp up here in the top, and I grabbed this picture here because I noticed a lot of work going on down here as well. And this is on the north side of Nolan's Peninsula. They have not talked about it at all. What does that mean? Does that mean there's nothing important there, or are they saving this for later in the season?
They could be saving it.
I think so. I think they are. I think they're saving it. Let me get my little pointer up here too, because I forgot to get that going. But because I love that, I love my pictures and I love my little pointer. So bear with me a moment while I get this on here. All right, there we go. And so we'll move along. One thing that they're actually looking for two big things that are going on in the swamp area, in this section of the swamp up here. Two big things that are happening. First, you've got the finding of another stone. Do I call it a path, a road, a platform, paved area, like
some kind of a platform or path? Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can kind of see a lot of this cobble that you see there in front of Billy's excavator, and you can see it here under Ian Spooner's feet. I don't think so, Kat. I think it's just north of it. I think it's just north of the peninsula there that they're doing that digging there. We'll find out. Oh, what do you say for Jeff's Dr. Pepper and Girl Scout cookie? No Dr. Pepper for me, thank you. But Girl Scout cookies, we got onto that talk last night in Discord. Why we were talking about, I think I accidentally started it. But anyway, yeah, we were talking about Girl Scout cookies. But anyway, as I digress. But you can see all this cobble that is under Ian's feet here. And Ian said this during this section. He said, where's my note on it? Nope. I got it note written here. Oh, he said, here it is.
Talk about Spooner pointing out the rocks in the path are the same size.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. And then he said, if they were natural, we wouldn't have this tight of a distribution and size of these rocks. So, yeah, and the placement of them. So, do we have another platform? I think we do. I think we do. And is it possible that so much more of the swamp is actually these stones underneath a pile of muck? I think it is. I really do.
Yeah, well, just somebody getting rid of a pile of rocks, it'd be a pile of rocks, right? But this is flat, it's level.
Yeah, exactly. So, and you've already heard Steve Guptill say that it's a same elevation, as the road in the southeast corner of the swamp. So there you go. The other feature is this square vault, and I'm going to call it a vault just simply because I honestly believe it is. So really,
well, it was used to store something.
Yes.
So call it a vault, call it a storage bin, call it whatever you want, but it was used to keep something secure.
Yes.
Because if you didn't care what it was, you wouldn't go to all that work.
Exactly. Now it comes into question, and we'll talk about this a little too as we go along, but it brings in this to question. And I want you folks to think about this and then let me know what you think. And they mentioned this on the show as they were talking about this with Rick Lagina last night. Is this something that Graves built to use as a storage hiding place or whatever? Or is it something that he found and continued to use it? That, I think, is really the big question here.
That's the question.
So, yeah, exactly. So here's the guys over here, and they're talking to Laird because somebody found a piece of pottery or pottery. And Laird is he like picked it up and he was walking over or something. Thank you, Carolyn. I just saw the notification come up. Thank you very, very much. It's so kind of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. It costs to put this on, and I really appreciate the support. I really do. Laird is like, did I hear somebody say pottery? And he comes walking over and looks at it, and right off the bat, he said it's earthenware.
Earthenware, yeah.
Yeah, and he said it's like 1860 to 1870 time frame.
Yeah, so it's in the Graves period.
Exactly, in the Graves period. Yep. And I'm just so you know too, I am monitoring up on the other screen here. I am monitoring over on Rumble. So I see there's folks that are watching. If you guys have anything you want to say in the chat that is relevant to the show, go ahead and I'll do my best to get you included. So I just want to make sure I noted that to everyone over there. So Yeah, it's the Graves area. So, era, I should say, era. And here's that little picture that they showed of what he bought. So, Graves, Anthony Graves owned from lot 5 all the way over to Isaac's Point, all the lots across the top, every one of them.
So really, he owned at least a good half of the island, really.
Yeah, half the island for sure. So, and we're going to get to a nice little point here too. What did he find? And they talked about, the rumor is that he was buying goods on the mainland with Spanish coins, silver coins. Okay, so let's speculate for a moment.
We can try.
I know
I've never done it myself, but we could try.
If Anthony Graves found coins and they were Spanish coins, and he was using them to buy goods on the mainland, where would such coins come from? I mean, obviously we don't from the Spanish, yes, but I mean, who do we know is possible to have had Spanish coins on Oak Island, or had brought them there? So again,
200 years before that.
Yeah, exactly. And who would that have been? That would have been around the time of Phipps.
Yep.
And where did Phipps possibly get some Spanish coins? From a ship maybe found down in the Caribbean?
Someplace a lot warmer than right here right now.
Someplace I'm closer to it than you are, but hey, I digress. But yeah, so I mean, folks, like Corjan was talking about, is it proof? No, it's not. But these things are kind of adding up, are they not? So anyway, they as we go along here, yeah, it is the Phipps era. I believe it was a vault from Phipps that was found by Graves. Brian, you and I are thinking alike, buddy.
Yep,
for sure. So as they continue with Alex and them and the excavator, and they're cleaning off the tops. Thank you, Jake. That's Jake Roberts over there. Ghosts of Bacon. Thank you, sir. Glad to have you here with us tonight. So as they're cleaning off those rocks and they're looking at that platform, road, whatever that might be over there, Laird and the metal detecting expert of Gary Drayton come over, and they look at this muddy hole in the ground, lined with slate, stones, and bricks. And Gary gets his metal detector down there, and he beep, 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 he gets a hit. Well, they start digging the hole, and Gary almost falls in it at one point. I was watching it, and he kind of slipped, and he almost fell in the hole. There's him catching himself with his elbow. But he's digging around in that hole, and then he pulls out this piece of pipe with something stuck on it.
Yeah, what's on the side of it? Anyway, I didn't get a chance to look at it closely enough.
Well, they were saying it was a piece of brick, like a little piece of broken off.
Adhered to it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And it was stuck onto the side of it. He hands it over to Laird, and Laird's, looking at it too. And then they decide, well, we're going to have to take this over to Emma and let Emma have a good look at it. So that's one of the things that they find there. I pointed out this because Gary and Laird were both talking about these slate stones. These were cut.
No question. I was just going to say that it's remarkable how well they cut them.
Mm-hmm. Making nice rectangular square blocks of slate to construct this. And you heard also, I think it was Laird that said this, but Tom, would you go through this effort and make this nice of everything if it was a latrine, if it was an outhouse?
Well, number one, you wouldn't put that much time and effort into it. And number two, you wouldn't give it a hard bottom. You wouldn't line the bottom with bricks,
Right. Exactly.
right? So it's not a latrine, not
Right.
in my opinion, anyway.
Not in my opinion either. I think you're absolutely correct. And there's Rick. Here's a picture of Rick looking at this thing, and there's a piece of broken slate, what looks like a piece of broken slate, right over here, sitting up there that he pulled out. He apparently pulled out of the hole, and so he's checking this thing out too. And then they find this piece of glass, and it's square. It's the bottom of a jar or I
would say some sort of a jar. Yeah.
Yeah, some sort of a jar. They really couldn't get a date or anything on it, but right off the top, you heard Laird again come in and say that it looked like it was late 1800s to him. Okay.
Yeah.
Mid to late 1800s.
And it's machine made.
Yes, and machine made. Thank you.
Yep.
Who was the mid 1800s?
There you go.
Anthony Graves. So 1857, he died in 1888. So it fits right into the Anthony Graves timeline. Too many things are falling into the Anthony Graves timeline. Way too many things.
You know where his house was, and as Laird described it, where his line of sight were to both sides of the island and the back road to the money pit. So I don't think there's any question he would have known that was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at his line of sight. And this is something that Rick was talking about too. Why would you build your house on the lowest section of the island when there's a lot better places to build a house on? And if you own from 5 to 20 all the way across to Isaac's Point, why would you build your house right there? I don't know. I mean, I'm throwing that out there as a question. Because and Rick was saying, you got a line of sight going to the north and to the south.
Yeah. And it certainly would not be a shelter. I mean, a lot of people will say like a sheltered location, get it down off the hill and be sheltered, but it's not going to be sheltered. I mean, that's going to be like a wind tunnel between those two, pieces of land.
Right.
Wind's going to just howl through there.
Out of sight from sea, Cat. From the south side, no. From the north side, yes, because you'd be looking over to where the Oak Island Resort is now. You're going to be looking that direction, or a little bit to the north, maybe to the left of the where the Oak Island Resort is. But you're going to be able to see that body of water out there very clearly, coming in from the islands over in that direction, and then also the other way. Is that why he put it there? We don't know. We absolutely don't.
The other thing that drives you crazy too is why did he need to control such a large swath of land?
Exactly. Yeah. So very interesting.
He's not going to farm it all.
Did he? Brian says, did he build the house before he found the vault or after? Don't know.
Don't know.
We don't even know that he found the vault. I mean, there's no proof that it was his.
Proof he did. The stuff they're finding in it comes in that same range, but
yes,
could have been anybody's stuff.
Right. The other thing that we noticed about this, and this is something that again Rick had mentioned about the hard bottom on this thing, and why I don't believe that it's a latrine or an outhouse, is because of this. He says, "Oh, all these bricks are on the bottom, lining the bottom." And he was pulling them up, and he was handing them to Alex, and he was stacking them up. Look at that stack of bricks, folks. That's a lot of them.
Yeah. And
there's still some laying around elsewhere that weren't stacked up right there. So
it was used to store something. I mean, it could have been a food cooler.
It could have. That's true. It could have.
It
might not have been treasure. There's another shot of those bricks.
Depending on how hungry you are, food is pretty important.
Yeah, that's very true. And you are going to need some sort of cold storage or cool storage. No doubt about it. So, and you had a bottom of a glass jar down there. Maybe he had some stores down there in glass jars and he dropped one and it broke.
Or maybe the glass jar broke when he dropped it and it was full of coins.
And it was full of coins.
People used to bury jars full of coins, right?
Yep. Supposedly he was a farmer, not a researcher or a searcher. Correct. Cat said it could have been both. Absolutely. Could have been. So yeah. So we don't know for sure. Neither do they on the island know for sure, but it is very interesting. Metal detecting down there again. They pulled out a couple more pieces. This is a handle of some sort of this is a crank handle for some sort of a grinder, coffee grinder. I've seen coffee grinders with hand cranks on them like this.
Yep.
Where his hand on this side is where your handle would be. And then this side over here is where it would have a square hole that attaches to the shaft of whatever the grinder is or the thing that you're turning with the handle.
Coffee grinder, meat grinder.
Yep, definitely. So that was found down there. I took this picture here because, again, not only can you see the construction of this thing, but you can also see another little tidbit. And again, I'm making an assumption that they found it in there. But that's some sort of a jar. I had another picture that I accidentally deleted. But you can see that whatever this is, it looks like a jar because it has a bottom in it. Did they pull that up out of the hole? We assume so, but I don't know for sure if they pulled that out of there as well. Was Phipps supposed treasure coins? I thought bars of some shape. I don't know. It could be. Borcher's Texas Farm set a crank to lower or get something out of there. Maybe. It just depends on how deep it was. Because even after the bricks were taken out, that is when Rick said that it had a hard bottom after he took the bricks out. Dude, I would be digging this sucker. I'd document it as best we could, and I'd get the excavator and I'd dig this sucker up. Jake says KGC used to bury coins in jars. Yes, they did. And there was some found. The Knights of the Golden Circle. Yep. From the Civil War. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's some interesting stuff here for sure. It's a trap door. They did find wood, and it looked like wood had been lined across the top. And you'd do that, and put dirt on top of it so that you could eventually come back later and retrieve whatever it is you're looking for or whatever you put in there.
What I found interesting was after he took the bricks out, Rick still said it had a hard bottom.
Yes.
Maybe we're not done.
I don't think we're done with it. I wouldn't be done with this thing. Like I said, I'd dig this thing up without a doubt. I would dig it up. Let me get that out of there. Next they break out we were talking about this last night too in Discord. I think it was Robert that said, oh, they need to get a shop vac out there that could suck up some water. And then just in the very next segment, here comes a shop vac that they got hooked up to a generator so that they could suck out the water. Yeah, it might go deeper, TT of Toronto says. Yes, I think it very likely does go deeper. And I'm going to show you another picture of why I kind of say this. But yeah, there's Rick vacuuming out the bottom of it. And then they pull up this thing. He said it looked like wrought iron and defined hooks on both ends. They need to get Carmen over there. Where's Carmen Dater? They got to get him over there to have a look at these things. And this was now Craig Tester had told Billy, or he was like, do you want me to scoop out that side? And Craig said, yes. Or was it Alex? I think it was Craig. I thought it was Craig that he was talking to. So he did. So this is outside of this box where he reached down and he scooped that out. This is why I say this thing is bigger than what you think it is. So here's the edge of the box, right? Right here and right here. Why is there slate going that way still? So the outside, what they're finding on the outside is bigger. And then here's another slate rock down here.
Yep.
Folks, the thing is bigger than just that square hole that you see on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, here's a distant shot of this. And the reason why I grabbed this one here is because I wanted to have everybody be able to see the proximity of this path right here that you see here on the top, going over to Nolan's property where the shed is first and then the house and everything is. That's how close it is to being out of the swamp. Very close. And very close to where Anthony Graves' house is or was.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I grabbed this picture right here. That for that reason, I wanted you to see just how close it was to the edge there of that dry ground. Again, another shot looking straight down on this. And we had a few people that were saying, and I've seen this in Discord last night. We talked about this, but also there's some in social media I saw. Well, they said, "Oh, there's water bubbling up out of the bottom," which we saw the shots. There was a couple of overhead shots like this where it did look like there was water bubbling up out of the bottom of it. It wasn't, in my opinion, it was not water bubbling out of the top. What it was the downdraft of the drone that was taking the picture. This one, you can't see it very well, but that right there is an image of the drone that was flying over top of it, and the downdraft was making the water.
Yeah, because I saw that too, and I thought, wonder what the heck's causing that. But then it's not bubbling up from the bottom because there's no way you're going to keep up to that with that little shot back.
No, absolutely not with that kind of amount bubbling. So it was the downdraft of the drone that was taking this overhead picture.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's what you're seeing there. Because I watched it again and caught that. Oh, yeah, thank you, Kat. The other thing too is all the cobble that's around here on the outside of what this platform, this road, or whatever. Did whoever built this dig all that cobble out and then built this inside the cobble platform or road or path or whatever?
It looked like it had a wooden top, so it was made for some sort of, I'm going to say, frequent access. If it was meant to be buried for a long, long time, you'd make a stone top.
Yep, exactly. So you've got all this. You can see it right here. All this cobble on both sides. It's on all four sides of this thing. It's got all this cobble around it. So it just rings out to me that this thing, either they opened up and they dug into the cobble to build this thing, or it was built when the cobble was there, or, and then put the cobble around it to get access to it. I don't know.
Yep.
Hard to say. Impossible to make that judgment call here. All we can do is speculate on that for sure. But, and then I have this picture here, folks. This is one of the ones that intrigued me the most. Now, I tried to grab a better picture of it because it go by so darn fast. But you see this big stone here, this big lintel stone. What's underneath it?
Nothing.
That's one of the things that I wanted to look at. There's a better picture of this, and maybe I can get it and share it at another time. But this thing goes under here. It goes back in there a ways underneath that. And those stones, those other big slate stones that were on the side are running here. Look, you got some of these over here, and they're running that way. This thing is bigger than just this opening. Again, that's why I say that. Because you can see underneath there. What direction is it? Ooh. Well, hang on. I can probably tell you the answer to that. Let's back up a picture or two. Okay, I'm going to look at this stone here laying on its side. And that I'm going to say, okay, so there's that stone laying on its side.
Yep.
Which is there. And I'm going to say it's north.
North. Yep. I was going to say north. Yep.
Northeast, but in that direction of north.
Yeah. North-ish. For sure.
So, yeah. So it wouldn't be going towards the money pit if that's what you were thinking. So, yeah. This don't look like used window lintel. See how they do. Yeah. Yeah, Zane said he agrees. Thank you, Zane, because he's the guy that does all the overlays and all that stuff and knows those directions very well.
Mhm.
but this goes back in there a ways. I don't know how far. I have no idea, but you can bet that Rick has an idea about that already. And they didn't talk about this, and he was in that thing. So, comparing to the sacred tree of geometry, so I'm sorry, the sacred geometry tree of life, does this spot hit the 5th mercy point? It's in that general area. It's in that general area. Next show, he says the size of a treasure chest. Which is why I made
Renee,
thumbnail.
Tom's house would be to the right of that. Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Not this Tom, their Tom.
Mhm. So yeah, interesting, huh? I mean, there's more to this. There's more to this vault. And you go back to that question. I'm pretty convinced because of what they found in it that Graves knew of this thing. He either he built it or he found it and reused it and kept on using it.
Mhm.
So if he found it and he found treasure in it, would that not then say he had coinage to use to be able to buy goods on the mainland with, if that is true? And what was the other thing that folks said about that was said on the show about this? Even his family believed that he had found some treasure on the island.
Well, they made some comment about they tore his house apart after he died looking for it.
Yep. Because they believed he found treasure. Now, why would they do that if the story of him trading for goods on the mainland with silver coins was not true? Why would they think that he found treasure? I don't know.
And it was a pretty common practice that if you had anything of value, you did not put it in your house.
No, you'd be hiding it somewhere.
You bury it, underneath the nearest tree or whatever. But
absolutely. So again, I think this holds some secrets. This box.
Yep.
And hopefully they will get more information about it. I personally, like I said, at this point, I'd be in favor of starting to really dig this thing up. All right. So let's continue on, and we're going to jump over to the lab. Which I told you, Tom, I told you incorrectly that we were going to go to the war room and the money pit next, but sorry, I forgot.
That's all right.
It's
been one of those days. It's been one of those days.
It is one of those days, right? So here's the 3 things that they found inside of this box: the S-shaped hook thing, that piece of pipe thing, and also the hand crank. You can see their square hole on the end of that hand crank. And Emma does her analysis on these. And what did she? Let me get to my notes on that side. She said there was slight manganese content in the S hook. I think it was the S hook. And so she gave that a date of the early to mid 1800s.
Yep.
And then the pipe and the hand crank did not have manganese in them. And she said those would be around late 1700s, which then everybody piped in and said is prior to Anthony Graves and also prior to the discovery of the money pit in 1795.
I think that S hook was a cook hook, like you'd see them, or like for cooking over an open fire.
Oh yeah, yep.
Did you ever see one of them?
Yes, I have.
They look kind of like. Can you see that? Like that?
Yes. Yep. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Yeah. Let me make that bigger. There you go. Yeah, you're right. It does.
Now these are modern ones,
right.
What they would have made them like 200 or 300 years ago. Who knows? But that's the first thing I thought of. You're finding things that could be possibly used in food preparation, and you find these. I just call them a cook hook, but
yep.
But again, it could have easily been used to pull, tug, lift. Could have had multitude of purposes.
Yeah. Yep. So we'll get. Hopefully, Carmen will be out there, and he'll have a look at these things and give us his assessment of them.
Yep.
I'm really surprised that they didn't, but we've seen next time when we get to that point, we see his smiling face and his surprise. All right, so let's continue on. Lot number 5, and yes, Linda, I don't worry, I haven't forgotten. We'll get to that here quickly and do the giveaway. So even though I changed the order up.
See, the choice of the manager. He gets to change the batting order.
Yeah, I did. I changed the batting order based on the based on the game and how the game's going. So
That's all right.
you know, and having Corey in here, I mean, come on. I had to, it kind of threw everything for a loop. But man, was that cool or what?
The rest is history.
Okay. Discord just now. Okay, Zane just posted something up on Discord for us to check out, so I'll have to look into that. Okay, so over on lot number 5, the lot that just keeps on giving cool stuff. You got Ethan and Jack, of course, and Fiona, and they're working over there. And he found something that was very interesting. He found a peg, a numbered peg. And then we come to find out that Robert Young, who owned lot 5, he bought it from Fred Nolan. It was broken off. If you notice, while he was handling it, it was broken off. And then I noticed right here, because I thought, well, where was it? Well, did it just accidentally get dropped in this area, by chance or what? It was because it signified something that was found. But then I saw the piece that it broken off of right there. So you got the peg here, and then it's broken off right there. So I'm going to make the speculation that it was driven in the ground at this spot because of the other half of it that's in the ground right here. We have not, Tim, if you're talking about these marked pens or pegs, I have not seen them. Yeah, it looks like a tent stake that he had numbered April. But I don't think we've seen, I don't know. Have we ever seen these before on the show? I don't think so.
I don't recall it, no.
All right.
It could be. I just don't recall it.
Yeah. I don't either. But he used these anytime many young finds on lot 5, and he used these to mark where he found certain coins and things like that. So they looked at it, 5 dash whatever 025, and so
almost smells like a drill hole.
Yeah, I know, right? 5.025 dash. Yeah. So he found this, and then Jack gets on the phone and he calls up Laird to find out what that one called for. Now, apparently, and I've not looked at this before, but apparently this information is out there for anybody, right, Linda? Yes. Mm-hmm. So anybody can go, and I don't know where it is. It's on Robert Young's website, maybe. Okay. So these coins, anything that he found that he listed, so you can actually go there. It's public. It's out for the public. You can go there and look at these numbered pegs, and it'll show you what he found. This was what was found in that spot, according to the record of Robert Young. It's a 1781 2 real, Spanish 2 real. Okay. 1781.
Important date. Remember that.
It is an important date. And who, if we go back to who again? Yeah, that is a very important date. Oh, okay. So it's oakislandlot5.com. There you go. That's the place. So a 2 real Spanish coin. And if Anthony Graves found some of those things, and the half silver piece, yes, appeal to heaven 74. Thank you. Up on Rumble. Yep. So Spanish coin, then the new treasure vault in the swamp. Yes, exactly. That's where I was just heading, because this is, if Anthony Graves found coins over there, okay, if he did, and we don't have proof of that, but if he did, and he was using them to buy stuff, and then you have one show up over on lot 5 as well. I'm not going to say, well, he did own lot 5. Anthony Graves did own lot 5. So could he have dropped one over there? Or could the other people that had originally been using the structure on lot 5 have dropped one over there? And what other things have we found in lot 5 that relate to a certain person that found the Concepcion?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So there you go. Interesting stuff there for sure. There's Jack, 1781 Spanish half real, a silver one, and it was the only Spanish coin he found on lot 5, or found at all. So again,
Yep. So I mean, if Phipps was there in 1687, then who the heck was there in 1781?
Yep, exactly. So, all right. So we're going to jump over to the war room and then dig into the money pit. But before we do that, let's do our giveaway for tonight. Let's have at it a little bit. I think we should.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time. So let me get the picture back up. Hello, Linda. How are you?
Hey, everybody.
All right. So again, here is our giveaway for tonight. It is the T-shirt that was purchased at the Oak Island Treasure Shop that anybody can go to. It's open to the public. You can go there and buy one of these yourself. Christine and I bought these, this one. And then we also have the coaster from Michelle Tomeyer. Michelle Tomeyer that she had there. So to talk about this for just a moment again, and I know I repeat this every show, but we might have new people here. This is why they do it on the Prometheus does this as well. But to be eligible for any of our giveaways, you must be a member of our Facebook group, which is the Curse of Oak Island and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, because we talk about that show as well. You are a member of that. Linda will put out a picture of the coming week's giveaways, and all you have to do is reply to that post with a yes. You just do a comment to that post with yes, and you'll be eligible to win the giveaway for that week. And you must be present at the podcast to claim it. If you're not, we give you about a minute to say you're here. And if we don't get anybody, then we spin again. So that's how you do that, right?
So
Right. And after you've won once during the season, we're not going to let you enter again until the finale.
Yep, exactly. And then everybody's eligible for the finale, and we're going to have some
everybody's
really
names in the hat. Yep. That enters for that show.
I have some fun things for the finale.
Brian said I can never complain about the XRF ever again. I know, right? But I will take a sip of wine every time they talk about that XRF and Phipps.
Oh, you're going to be wasted.
I know, right? Yeah, it could happen. It could happen.
It could happen.
It could happen. All right, let's get you in solo layout, and we will do the spinaroo here. And we'll find out who gets to win the T-shirt. I hope it fits whoever gets it.
You guys, this is a really nice, heavy T-shirt. It's long-sleeved, and it's super nice. I think Kat has one, and Renee has one like it. All right, here we go. Let's see if I can make this thing work.
All right. Oh, it works. Good. Wow, a lot of names on there again. Look at all the names on that thing. No! Oh no! You're gonna have to send that all the way to Australia.
To
Oh,
Australia.
it's our buddy from down under.
No, are you here? I don't know if he's here.
He was here earlier. I saw him.
It was
Oh.
earlier. No, if you're here, send me your address.
Like almost tomorrow afternoon there now. I think.
Oh my God! Yeah, he's at work right now. Watching from lunch.
I hope he's still on here.
Oh, where are you?
Oh, no,
Oh my
no.
gosh!
I've
You
not
gotta be
sent
here.
to Australia before.
Oh my gosh. Noel is he's one of our friends from down under that joins us on the Discord channel quite often. He was here before. Noel, where are you? He's got to yell to us. There he is. He's got to yell to us
There he
all the way. Oh, Warren Kelly, thank you so much, sir. Hi, all. Keep up the great work. All right. Thank you very, very much.
There you go.
I
You can use
appreciate that
use Warren's donation to send that over to Noel.
Yeah. You just give it to
20
Linda.
Australian dollars.
Well, it can't be a whole lot more than sending it to England or
Oh,
Canada.
I know, right? Congratulations, Noel. All right.
Yep, send me your address and I'll get this in the mail. My
right.
daughter said, okay, so we've done Canada and we've done the UK this year. Could we just stick to the United States? Because there's all kinds of forms I have to fill out when it goes outside the country.
Oh, I can only imagine. Oh, wow.
The people in the
All
post office are probably going, "Oh, here she comes again. It's your turn. I'm going
Yeah.
already."
Yeah. I
Well,
don't want to deal with her.
I discovered that our postmistress is a big fan of the show.
Really?
She finally said, why are you mailing stuff every week to all these places? And I said, well, because it's a giveaway for a podcast that we do about the Curse of Oak Island. And she's like, wait, the TV show? I said, yeah. And she said, oh, don't put them in the package until I see what they are. She's a big fan. So there you go.
That's awesome. There you go. All right. Congratulations, Noel.
Yep.
We're glad you won that. Well,
All right.
I
I'll
don't know about
have something special maybe from Carmen for Friday.
that would be great.
It'll be fun.
Yes, that would be great. Thank you very much, Linda.
All right. Later.
Yeah, we got to get moving along here, or this is going to be a 4-hour show.
Mhm.
All right. Let's what do you say we jump over to the war room?
War room. We got you.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So yeah, so we get over to the war room and we've got all the guys over there, Craig and Scott and Jack and Steve and even Dan Hensky. Glad to see he's still part of the
Yeah.
team.
It was good
Love
to see him.
seeing Dan. And they've got a couple big chunks of wood laying there on the table. Well, these are chunks of wood that were out of what they are. Well, is it shaft 2 or is it not shaft 2?
That is the question.
That
Come on.
is the question. Absolutely. Dr. Michael Pisarek, earth scientist, and then they called him Professor Pisarek or later on in the
Yep.
episode or
It could be
while they
both.
were in the worm. And so, yeah, they're looking at this. Remember at the very first episode of the season, and they were talking about this unknown shaft that they found. Matter of fact, they found 2 in the same general area of each other. One right here where they're digging, and I went back to the first episode of season 12, and I grabbed a couple extra pictures. That one was from there, of course. That was there. They showed last night. And then there was this one that I went back and grabbed. You see all that wood? That's the side of the shaft wall going down there. And then there was one of the 2 shafts that they found in that area. And they were all filled in, but the wood was very well preserved in there.
Hmm.
So what they did was they went down in that hole and they grabbed some wood samples that you see down here. He had them pick off a couple, brought them up, and then they went and they had them tested. General chronology. And it was done by that gentleman that you see there that I forgot his name, Pisarek.
Mhm.
Dr. Pisarek. Now, what they were talking about is that shaft 2 was at the time that shaft 2, if this is shaft 2, that at the time that shaft 2 was put in the ground, that they dug it, it was put there. It was put 14 feet to the southeast of the treasure shaft or the money pit shaft.
Correct. Yep.
So if this is shaft 2, they had gone down there, as you see, and the idea was that they were going to go down at the bottom and then go over that 14 feet and tie into the money pit, the treasure shaft, which you see here. This is, of course, the drawings that somebody at Prometheus does. They were going to get access to the treasure shaft doing it this way and try to avoid the flooding and everything else that's going on. So they did the dendrochronology on this piece, on both pieces of this. And by the way, shaft 2 was supposedly put in 1805. Okay, that's an important date to remember. If that is shaft 2, it was put in 1805. Trying to understand your question there. Appeal to Heaven 74 on Rumble. Did they ever drill in them? I'm not sure. I know we're a little bit of a delay between the two, so I'm not sure. Maybe not shaft 2. True. So, but this piece of wood here, Eastern hemlock, which is kind of interesting. I don't know. Is hemlock pretty common up there in Nova Scotia?
It's found in the northeastern United States, the mid-Atlantic states, the Lake states, and in Canada, it's found in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, and Quebec. So,
Yeah,
pretty much throw a rock and you may hit a hemlock tree.
you may hit a hemlock tree. All right. 169 rings measured, and they came up with a date of 1784.
Curious.
Very curious.
What was the date on that Spanish coin that Mr. Young found?
1781.
There you go. Coincidence? I don't know.
Maybe. But Rick notes that the 1784 is 21 years before recorded history of the shaft 2 construction,
Correct.
which was 1805. So 21 years. So is this shaft 2? That is the question. We just simply don't know.
Hemlock's a pretty hardy hardwood. So to
Mhm.
think that it could last for 20 years and be repurposed, yep.
And that's kind of what they were talking about. Was it reused wood? Was it reused from something else they found? The wood that they found and reused it to build shaft 2? We just simply don't know. And that leaves a big question mark as to whether or not that is shaft 2. But they're going to assume, as you saw in the war room session with Steve, they said, we'll just leave a question mark on it for now. I don't know if they're ever going to be able to nail down whether or not it really was shaft 2.
No.
But if it's 14 feet away, so you're going to go to the northwest 14 feet to find out where the money pit was located. And you have here, Steve went and did his Zane work. And so you've got shaft 2 right here. That's that one that we just showed. If that is shaft 2, question mark. And then here he went off the western side and he went over 14 feet to the center. And then he put this red circle here. And that is where he said that's our area of interest. 14 feet over. And you see what it hits. This green rectangle box there is the 12 by 24 Hedden shaft. And remember, Hedden was trying to get down there as well to to the Chappell Vault. So that's that. I thought that was really cool that if that is, and why not? Why not try it? You got to try, right?
I mean, it just shows you these guys were all in the right ballpark. You know, if the money pit is there and everybody's, they're all banging around the same spot. So,
yeah,
drill,
Peel the
baby,
Head
drill.
because I would have. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say they're all banging around the same spot. So just keep drilling.
Yes, exactly. Peel the Heaven 74 says I would have went in the middle of the green box. They might in the middle of the Hedden shaft. This is Gilbert Hedden. You've seen his picture on there many times. And there is just an artist drawing of the 2. That is the Hedden shaft and also the Chappell shafts. And you see the difference in size. So here is where they're talking about putting this area or the area of interest. Richard. Oh my gosh. Thank you, sir. Wow.
Whoa.
That is very nice of you. Thank you so very much. That's really good. Thank you. So that's where they're looking right here. To start drilling and look to see what's down there, right? So, and remember, Hedden went down 110 feet, was it?
I gotta look. Yeah, 100-ish feet. Yep.
Yeah, 110 feet down. And then we really appreciate all of the work you and your team do to make these shows, explaining the impact of what seems. Yeah, thank you. And you know what? And it's because Tom and I both, we love all this stuff. We love the history of it. And we dig into this show very deep so we can try to make more sense of it. Because it's honestly, you get 42 minutes of TV show, and then they spend about what, 5 to 10 minutes reviewing old stuff that we already know. So what's left? You get, and then trying to remember everything. And so that's why we do this, because we like to do it. We like to dig into it deeper. And why not share this with all of you? That's why we do this. All right. So, yeah, 110 feet down. And then you had Irwin Hamilton, who came along. And Irwin Hamilton, he actually did the extension onto the head and shaft. Here's that area of interest that I showed earlier, and the head and shaft where they're going to be looking, 14 feet over from shaft 2. And this is the area also that Ian Spooner and Dr. Michaels and Matt Lukeman, Dr. Lukeman, they all were looking that because of everything fizzled out on the baby blob as far as the water content or the gold and silver content in the water. But they knew that it originated in this general area. And this is the area that Tom had just said a moment ago about everyone was looking here. Hedden was looking here. Chappell was looking here. We are looking here. That was what Marty said, that we are also looking here. So we're back to this core initial spot, which I'm glad they are, because I think this is the right place to be looking. They were looking for an offset chamber at one point, but I think that they need to get back over here and start with this. Now, what's the other thing of, interest in this area was that this is where I think roughly where I think they have the caisson that was left in the ground is in this general area. Somewhere, I think that caisson that was left in the ground at the end of this season, which we probably won't even hear about until the episode 24, was somewhere in this general area. I think. I could be wrong, but I think it's in that general area. So this is, I think, where they need to be working.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's a picture of and again, how do you find a hole in here where you haven't already looked? But the walking of that, and that's something that I know they do that on a regular basis, right, Tom? They put that gyro down there every 10 feet
Every
to
hole.
See where in every single hole. And that's where you see those little circles inside these snakes, is that gyro positioning that they send down there. And we talked about that on a couple episodes ago where we actually saw that they put that down there. It's going to make your sonic drill rig drilling process so much longer, takes so much longer, but you have to know where that thing goes. So you start at one point and you end up sometimes 10 feet away from where you really wanted to end up at the bottom.
That's why those 3D models are so important.
Yes, exactly. Chutes and ladders. I know, right, Renee? Making sense of all this and knowing that you're going to drill in this spot here, H.5-10.5. Well, when that drill gets to the bottom, it might be way over here, or it might be way over here. That's got to be maddening. Absolutely maddening to figure that out when you get down to the bottom.
Yep. Because
you could completely miss. You want to drill right here, and you would love for it to go straight down and show you what's underneath here. And I wish that was something that they would talk about with us on the show. That, when they put that gyro down there every 10 feet and they know where it's walking to, do they do it when the hole is at the bottom, or do they stop and do it and stop and do it? That's a question for somebody that I'm going to tell you right now is coming on the podcast, folks. I wanted to wait till there was a lot of people here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm very excited. I just got confirmation today that we've got 2, maybe 3 people coming on the show, one of which has never been on the podcast before. Mr. Terry Matheson is going to be joining
Whoa.
us. Terry Matheson
Great guy.
and Laird and possibly Steve Guptill will be on the show February 19th. They're gonna come on here on a Wednesday night when we're talking about one of the episodes, but that's okay. We'll talk to them and cover everything. But is that awesome news or what? Terry Matheson, Laird Niven, and possibly Steve. And I said, twist his arm, get Steve on here.
Mm-hmm.
So if they put this down every 10 feet during the drill operation, that's going to be hard and like very time consuming. Or do they wait until it's all the way down, then they run it and put it every 10 feet and get a reading? I don't know. Let's ask that question because I want to know more about that, and they would be the guys to ask. But because during the show when they're doing this, if they know that it's walking to the south or to the southeast, east or west or whatever, then they would know that they're going to miss the point that they were looking for already.
Would they though? Like it's going to depend on where that data gets downloaded to.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. It's got to be just so maddening though to because you want to be right here. You want to get down to the bottom of that spot right there. You want to get down and get below the head and shaft at 110 feet. You want to get below that and see what that drill found, because they said that the wooden structure that they hit was about 153 feet. If the shaft only went to 110, you want to get well below that. But if you end up 10 feet away from your target point, you got to drill another hole and hopefully you get back over there. I don't know, but that's got to be a question we're going to have to ask them. So here's the thing. They did find bits of wood at 146 feet. That is below the head and shaft bottom, 146 feet. They did find little bits. They were just little pieces. Now, no big chunks, but just little pieces of wood. Mm-hmm. There's one he's holding in his hand right there.
22 feet below where the head and shaft was.
Right? Yeah.
What is wood doing down there? How did it get there? How did it get there?
How did it get there? Indeed. And this is not inside the area that Dunfield did his big dig.
No.
This is way outside of that.
Well, yes, it's deeper than Dunfield went anyway.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Much deeper. So you've got bits and pieces of wood, and Appeal to Heaven said on Rumble said like they sliced it, like they hit something as they were going down. And I think so. It's a sonic drill rig. So it's going to, if they're grazing the side of something, it's going to knock off little bits and pieces.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So maybe that's what's happening here. But still, to find that wood that deep down is important, even if it's just little pieces. It's important. Because it's not, wood is not going to be that deep on its own. Okay, so Erwin Hamilton, this gentleman here, what they had done was they went to the bottom of the head and shaft, which is right here, and they did an extension. Now, I didn't hear them say how far down it went. Did you catch that at all? I don't remember them saying how far down it went to. So here you are, 110 feet.
Hamilton, I wrote down 153.
Okay. Well, they drilled.
Whether that's where he started from or where,
I think that's where they drill. That's what I had written down. They had drilled. They went down here and then they drilled down through there. And they drilled to at 153, they hit a wooden structure. Now, did theirs walk as well?
Yeah, and keep in mind, those fellows also went down 90 or 100 feet or more in a shaft and then drilled.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So the guys kept going. They found that wood at 146. They went all the way to 173. But once they got past that area, Doug had said, Doug Crow, or was it Charles? I'm sorry. It was probably Charles Barkhouse. He said that from 124 to 139, there was no wood. And 22 feet below the head and shaft. but they get down to from 153 is where Hamilton had said that they
Hamilton.
hit wood.
Yep.
And then they go down to, so these guys, they drill on down to 173 and they found nothing. So
In situ, solid. Yep.
Yep, it's all in situ at that point. So they said, okay, this hole's done. You heard Terry say it. Well, we're done with this hole. So they're going to move over to another one. So I looked at this. This was right toward the end, and I looked at this. This was when they were analyzing the metal stuff Emma did. And once again, folks, Tom, they're thwarting
They're onto
us.
us. Yep, they're onto us.
They're on to us again. The whole thing is pretty clear to read, except for the date. Come on, guys. Prometheus, come on. I mean, does it really hurt for us to know?
They'll make a mistake. And when they do, we'll be there.
I mean, yes, we point out the date when we see it on the bags of the goodies and stuff like that. But is it that bad to let us know what the dates were? Okay, maybe it is. I don't know.
Big Brother is watching.
Big Brother's always watching, but we love you guys anyway. We know you. You know, if it wasn't for you guys putting the show together, you wouldn't have all these fans, right?
Mm-hmm.
Might gripe about the repeat of talking about the XRF machine and all that kind of stuff, but hey, you know what? We still love the show. Why wouldn't they put a magnetic level on every section of the pipe? They have something that reads the levels as they go down to keep it straight. I don't know. Well, they could, but I don't know if they can keep it straight, regardless of what they know, if it's leaning anywhere or heading off. I don't think they can. What do you think, Tom?
Well, it's a sonic drill pipe, right? So it's hollow in the middle. So whatever I would think it would be difficult to attach.
I think it would be too. I don't think this is not one of those drill rigs that can be steered. They've got those ones where they put, like on Skinwalker Ranch, for those of you who watch that show, and they're drilling underneath. They go down underneath the channel, the water canal. They go down underneath.
They just put a different bit in it.
Yes,
pull
and
the
they
drill
can steer
away. Yeah,
they can put pressure on where the actual drill part is. They can put pressure on the rod and steer it in different directions.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do that with that paddle drill bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this one has that capability.
I don't think so.
Almost. Well, when we have Mike Telford on the show, we'll ask him, or Tedford. When we have him on the show, we'll ask him about that. But that's my opinion on that one. I wish they could, because then they could get really where they wanted to, rather than having to worry about it. 5 degree per 10-foot stick at the joint. Yeah, the deflection is at a point between the pipes, more than pipe deflection itself. Yeah. So thanks, Abe. Appreciate that.
There you go.
There you go.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. Yeah, exactly. Frantex says, when I worked in the oil industry, just behind the drill, we had an inclometer. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'm sorry.
Just behind the drill bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, which would make sense.
Uh-huh.
If you're not hauling up core samples.
Right. If you're not hauling up core samples. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next time on the Curse of Oak Island, looking into next week, some cool stuff in here. Katya pulls up. She's metal detecting in that vault again, and she pulls up something, and everybody's pretty excited about it. I don't know what it is. I tried to get a picture, and then but you zoom in and you can't. It's small. Is it a coin? I don't think so, but we don't know. I tried to zoom in, but it was too blurry and it went by too fast to try to catch. But she metal detects in that hole and she does find something. So we'll see.
Must be another button.
Must be another button. Yeah, another code button. And then Mike says that they hit the void. I thought that was going to be on last night's show, where they hit this void, but it wasn't. So apparently they fooled us again. Thanks, Prometheus. But apparently it's coming next week. I hope. They hit a void, and he talks about it on here. And this Carmen Leg is there, and he looks pretty surprised about the information that's on the screen that Emma's showing. I'm making the assumption that Carmen is going to be looking at these items, that the pipe, the S hook, and the crank handle, but we don't know. Maybe they find something else that he has to come out and look at. But glad to see the Carmen Dater come out there and have a look at things. Really happy about that. And then the caissons. They start talking about caissons. That's pretty interesting. But you would think with all these caissons that they've plugged down here in the general area of where the money pit is supposed to be, they'd found it by now.
Yeah,
But
looks like they're using the Lucky Toonie.
the Lucky Toonie. Yep, that Lucky Toonie that Marty put down one of the pipes and it showed up somewhere else. 10 feet away from where he put it down. The Lucky Toonie. Absolutely. So, yeah. So that's one of the spots. I think that that's generally in the area of where I'm thinking that the area where they left the caisson in is somewhere actually right about here. But I could be wrong. That could be about the right place for
In
it.
that general area. Yep.
In that general area, yeah. So yeah, appeal to heaven. I would love to see him put a caisson down in the baby blob, just because I want to know what's down there. And they were following a 109-foot, 110-foot tunnel along that whole area that ran right across here. So
Maybe they
I
do.
would love to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They're going to say maybe they do.
Maybe they do. We don't know yet. Yep. Yeah. Just because they should. I think they should for sure. So there you have it, folks. We're going to see information about the void. We're going to see what Katya finds in that square vault in there. And I go back to that question. I am pretty well convinced that Anthony Graves found and used, or he either built it or he found that square box in the swamp, in the North Bog there of the swamp. He either found it or he built it. If he found it and there was treasure in it, that would explain a lot.
Didn't they think the box was built pre his arrival, maybe?
Yes, based upon the things they found in it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, goodness knows, metal object could reappear from anywhere.
Yep. He could have found that and been using them in there for all we know. I don't know. But the two of the metal objects were dated prior to his time.
Mm-hmm.
So could it have been something that was built there by Phipps and his team? And they stashed some Concepcion silver coins in there, and then came back and maybe got some of them, didn't get that one or whatever. And then Anthony Graves found it. It's possible. It's plausible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and could this thing go deeper, or could it go horizontally back in a ways and then go deeper? Yeah, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right. It ran north, and that was a very good question. I'm glad that question was asked because it made me go back and look, and I hadn't thought about doing that. So there you go, folks. That's what we have for this one.
That's all we got.
Yeah, that's all we got. Now, remember, we're not going to have a show tomorrow night. We will revisit the Hedden episode of the Tales of Oak Island. We will revisit that. We'll get that going, and Tom and I will be out here. We'll be talking about it and cover that one. And don't forget about Corjan. For those of you who may not have been here when we had Corjan on for the first half hour of the show, Corjan Mall shared with us that he is releasing a video that he did of some very interesting things that ties in his opinion, ties the Nolan's Cross to Yorkshire over in the UK with something he found over there. He's going to release that tomorrow night about 8:00 our time here in the Eastern time zone.
Mm-hmm.
And we will share it everywhere. And then we will get Corjan on the show to explain more about that. So that's coming. Really interesting stuff. And also if you didn't hear this already, that we are going to have Terry Matheson, Laird Niven, and possibly Steve Guptill on the show February 19th. So looking forward to that as well. We've been working on it for a while to get them to come on. We finally got a date commitment out of them today. So just found out about that today.
It's been a long work in progress.
Yes. Yeah. I talked to Terry personally when I was there last summer. And he agreed, yes, he would love to come on the show, he said, but we've been a long time trying to get a date nailed down. So we're going to do that next on February 19th. And also don't forget, Tom and I are still working on this project that we're going to come out for the timeline, the pre-discovery of the Money Pit timeline, going back to the 900s all the way up to the discovery of the Money Pit. We're going to put together a show, a mini series about the timeline and the who and the what and the why of Oak Island, and have those researchers come on and join us for that. And
we
Jake
already have
Roberts, yeah.
7, 8 people who
Yeah,
you'll
we got
all
like
know.
8 people already lined up for this, right?
Yep.
So going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're going to put this together because I need to see it, and why not? We're going to share it with all of you. So, all right. Congratulations, Noel. You did it. You got it. You finally got something, and now we got to get it to you. So there we go. All right, folks. Thank you very much for joining Tom and I here tonight, and Linda and Jan and all the work that they do behind the scenes to make all this happen. Couldn't do it without them. Absolutely could not do it without them. Glad they're here with us, and we're glad you all joined us. So thanks, and we'll catch you next time right here on the J Free 906 podcast and the Freeman Files. Good night, everybody.
Good night.